Welcome to today's 3-minute halacha. What kind of Chanukiah can we use? What's the ideal shape of a Chanukiah for Hanukkah? The Gemara on Shabbat on Daf Chav Gimel Amud Bet discusses a person who uses a bowl filled with oil and places the wick at the edge of the bowl. That type of Chanukiah rules is invalid. The reason is because having those wicks around the bowl ultimately gives off the impression that it's not a candle that's being lit, but a midurah, a large fire that is lit. What's the problem with a fire? Rashi just explains because we need to have a separate candle. However, a little bit of more explanation is found in Lavush, who said that the miracle was with separate candles of the menorah of the Beit HaMikdash, and we have to imitate that same concept. And the Sfat Emet goes one step further, and he said that when you have a bowl with all of these wicks and you have this midurah, you have this large fire, it gives the appearance that you're lighting it for the purpose of light and not for the purpose of a mitzvah. However, the Gemara in Shabbat Chav Gimel Bet does explain that if it's covered, and if each of the wicks have their own place where it comes out, it is permitted. Rabbeinu Peretz, however, says that there are other ways where a person would be lighting a candle that might also look like a large fire, and he said any situation like that should be avoided. Rather, the Chanukiah should have the candles in a straight line. Interestingly, there is a question that is raised by the Shelot Tshuvot Trumat Hadeshen. What about a Chanukiah, not a bowl, but a Chanukiah where the wicks are arranged in a circle? We find such Chanukiot among Yemenite Jews in particular, and the Trumat Hadeshen wanted to know what the rule would be. He suggests that there are two conditions that must exist. One is that it is clear that each one of the wicks, each of the flames are independent of the other. And also at the very same time, there have to be distance from each wick to the other. And therefore, where they had separate arms coming out with the individual candles, he would permit. The Maharshal, also quoted in the Magen Avraham, said that we don't use those kinds of Chanukiot because of confusion it could cause. But nevertheless, you do find Chanukiot with separate wicks, distance between each of the wicks that were used by the Yemenite community. There's another kind of Chanukiah that would present a problem, and that's the Chanukiah where the candles are not in a straight line when you look at them directly, but some are further back and some are further up. It's almost like in a zigzag pattern, even though they are all at the same level. The Maharil rules that such a Chanukiah, again, is invalid because it can give the wrong impression, and that also is the ruling of the Ramah and the Mishnah. That's also the reason why we try to make sure that all Chanukiot are separate candles that are straight, level on the same height, so that it's very clear that if this is a mitzvah specifically of Pirsumei Nisa, specifically about Hanukkah, and for no other reason.